The Pulse Network. It's what's next now.
Hi, everybody. I'm Butch Stearns of the Pulse Network of thepulsenetwork.com. Welcome into our studios here in Canton, Massachusetts. We're here today to talk about marketing in general, specifically about an event coming up in September, a bunch of events called FutureM. It's the second year having it here in New England, and we have a special guest in the studio to talk about it. We have Larry Weber in studio with us. Hello, Larry. How are you?
Great to be here.
Good to see you.
Nice to see you.
We're going to talk about marketing with you. It's something you know a little bit about, right?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit. At least I know how to market myself, you know.
Well, you do, and you got a new book out. We're going to get to that. I mean, you're a guy who started basically the largest PR firm in the world, Weber Shandwick. You've gone on to use social media in a different way, in a unique way, and probably as a pioneer as other people did. Let's start with your book and talk about that. This is your fourth book. It's called Everywhere. Tell us about it.
Just out, and it's, you know, I started to be really looking at the impact of social media back in 1998 when I saw, you know, companies like Friendster, you know, come out. They were sort of the precursors to the Facebooks and the LinkedIns of the world. But I noticed what was happening was that content and influence through your peers was something that was just starting to take root, especially in the next generation of the web. We had already been through the search sort of phase, and we were moving into the social phase. And I thought this is really going to impact everything. And so my last book, one of my last books, Marketing to the Social Web, I talked about purely how social media was going to impact marketing. And it was going to change the way, you know, companies went about their position in the marketplace to try to get people to share the qualities about their products and their services. And Everywhere is really about how now social media is cutting across all disciplines. There's a chapter in there basically on LinkedIn on how human capital is being affected by social media. There's one on innovation, on how new product development's being really driven by different micro-segmented social markets. So it should be driven by marketing, but now it's going to seep in through the rest of the company. And so that's really what Everywhere is about.
So that's the title, Everywhere, because as you said in your other book, you were talking about how social media affected marketing, but now it affects our lives in so many different ways.
Completely. I mean, just think about the oil spill last year in the Gulf. The second that BP finally used this social platform called Innocentive, a web service out of Texas, which you post money to solve a problem. And they got 3 engineers from Australia that came up with a legitimate solution.
I grew up in a news environment because I grew up as a sportscaster, and I harken back to a couple weeks ago when Osama bin Laden was killed, and I'm watching a Sunday night baseball game on ESPN, and the news broke basically on ESPN. Why? Because people were searching on their smartphones at the game when they were watching this, and that's how it broke. I mean, the social part of it has changed everything. And before we get to FutureM and all that, I want you to touch a little bit on social and what makes something social, in your opinion. I think people get misconceptions about that.
Yeah, I think, first of all, you have to step back, and I think the real thing that companies have to understand is that content is the new bait. So content is the thing that is going to attract people to aggregate. All right, and social is about the aggregation of specific groups of people that want to share and talk about specific content, whether that be a disease or whether that be a product, okay? And that's going to bring those people together. And the power of not only that connectivity to the ultimate selling of a product or service, but the data that a company can then get, all right, and understand about what's good, what's bad, what's indifferent about their products is only going to grow. So social is simply what we did physically before nobody had any time, and now they live in digital environments that have no line between the digital and the real. We've really been, you know, put together, so to speak. And I think the future of marketing is going to be a combination of social, database marketing and direct marketing, search, analytics, and really that's about it, with a little bit of paid media that's going to try to get you to digital destinations. And that's going to be a balance that we're going to have to you know, work. And then of course there's the next huge thing, which nobody says sounds huge, but it's digital couponing and digital loyalty, which is just going to explode beyond Groupon, you know, into smartphones the mobile way we live.
Well, you talk about the future of marketing, and that segues us right into FutureM, which comes up in September in Boston. It's a series of events. It's the second annual FutureM. It's in New England again. Let's talk about the event itself. You were involved last year, obviously.
Right. Well, FutureM came out of really our advocacy group, MITX, the Massachusetts Innovation and Technology Exchange, which is the largest internet web business advocacy group in the world.
Which you're the co-founder and chairman of the board of directors.
Chairman, correct. Yeah. And we have over 10,000 members, and a lot of large companies and very small emerging companies. Yeah. And what we were noticing was that in Boston itself, it had the roots of really where this future of marketing is going. So it has a history in database and direct marketing that is probably uncomparable in the globe. It has a basis of content creation, PR, content creativity, advertising that is really right up there. It has web base, all right? The internet, the ARPANET, was invented here, not by Al Gore, but by BB&N. And also Tim Berners-Lee, Sir Tim now, really housed the World Wide Web and the World Wide Web Consortium at the MIT's Lab for Computer Science, still there looking at the next generation of the web and fourth generation computing. And then you have everything from mobile to application software to the R&D centers of some of the most exciting companies, Google, Microsoft, IBM, all have R&D facilities here in Cambridge or the Boston area. And then you have a lot of the emerging small companies. We're still the largest venture capital investment center in North America after Silicon Valley, and a lot of that's going toward marketing. We also have by far more authors focused on the future of marketing and all the aspects of marketing that I talked about. So we all said, gee, why wouldn't we sort of have a conference and called FutureM for the future of marketing? Last year we had over 3,000 people, over 50 events, a lot of exciting topics from, again, mobile to social to database to analytics to measurement to the future of TV to the future of internet radio. I mean, it goes on and on. And this year from September 12th to the 16th, we're looking to have maybe 4,500 people, probably 75 to 100 events all around the city. Exciting speakers. I'm so excited, especially about one, Rashad Tabakawala, who is really one of the visionaries around the future of media and media buying. He really set up Publicis's media groups, Media Vest, etc. And so it's going to be an exciting time. And you can it's sort of like a buffet of the future of marketing. You can just eat as much as you want and go to the dessert table if you want to go there first, and whatever. But we're excited about FutureM's 2-year birthday.
Well, and as you just succinctly put it, Boston is the perfect place. I mean, I'm a native New Englander, and all I remember as a kid is hearing about 128 and the technology belt. But as you put it, we're such a melting pot for education, for information, for technology. And now you add the social and the marketing part into it. There's no better place to have this event in Boston or New England.
Absolutely, especially you bring up the history of innovation. That's it's a lot of people. It was fashionable to put down a lot of the old 128 companies, but those were some of the greatest engineers in the history of engineering that built those companies, and they went other places, and they had sons and daughters that went other places. And then you add again that whole marketing aspect to this, and you have the one place that has the academic, the intellectual leadership to really pull something like this off.
Which is what we've always had in New England. I mean, there's 7 colleges right in the city.
Right there.
And so there you get it.
And some of them are doing amazing work, not just the Harvards and the MITs, but you look at the Emersons and the Babsons, I mean, the Tufts.
I'm a Stonehill guy. Could you mention Stonehill?
Stonehill. I think
they'll be happy that I got that plug.
I think my football coach in college was from Stonehill.
There you go.
Yeah, but so we even have the best coaches, coming out of here. But anyway.
Hey, Larry, thanks for taking some time to stop in and pump up FutureM. It deserves it. We're looking forward to it. We're looking forward to being a part of it with the Pulse Network, and thanks for coming in here with us.
Love it. Thanks. Everybody should feel welcome to come to FutureM, and we're so happy that the Pulse Network is leading the next generation of media right here out of Boston.
Appreciate that. Yeah. Butch Stearns with the Pulse Network at thepulsenetwork.com. Larry Rebel with us. FutureM. Check it out, what's going on. It's coming up in September. We'll be a part of it. You should too.